There is a very concerning crisis that has been progressively affecting humanity for the last decade, and it's a crisis of men that obviously affects women too. And even if Harry is not your common chap, he's a great example of everything that's wrong with men today, and you're about to understand why. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. No matter how many dating apps you try or meeting men in a more old-fashioned way, women are beginning to notice a trend. There's a surge in two extremely toxic kinds of males: malignant narcissists on one hand and empty souls in another. And this could sound like an exaggeration, but maybe you had bad experience with rather shallow men and you want to know how to filter and spot better candidates. I'm going to give you the exact signals you should look for, but first it's important to understand how the male spirit works. The most relevant thing about men is that we are designed for challenges. No matter which age of humanity, we manage to thrive against all odds, protect our women and children, and build whole empires just because evolution has imprinted us in that way. You can imagine that this absurd amount of drive was necessary when we had to hunt for survival. But it's not just hunting that stimulated our thirst for adventure, because we also went on to explore the seven seas, climb the highest mountains, and get rid of that bloody huge spider, because that is simply what men do. Again, that is something hardwired in us. That is part of our deep programming, our instinct, and we cannot change that. As civilization has progressed, there have been less and less survival challenges, and we have turned into building challenges. This has been really good to really improve humanity's quality of life. But then we enter a paradox. When we had to focus on pure, raw survival, there was no questions to be asked. There was no doubt about what we had to do. We had to hunt, not get killed, and return home. Rinse and repeat. It was simple and brutal. When survival was no longer a problem, we became a little bored. That's when a few men decided to risk their lives exploring. Then we found out that we could focus on creating new technology, architecture, art, anything that you can imagine, just for the sake that we love any kind of challenge. But there's one thing about challenges. They require a lot of effort and energy, and a bit of craziness to overcome. So we needed a way to set up our minds to something, and that's when the word purpose enters the scene. Men absolutely need a purpose in life, but a purpose is part of a system that can be defined in 3 steps. A purpose is attained by challenges, and the more challenges the man overcomes, then the more rewards he gets. This is important. There has to be a reward on the other end so we can keep going and going. The good news about this is that the more challenges we solve, then the global quality of life improves. And then, the better the quality of life, the harder it is to find a relevant purpose. And it has a lot to do with rewards. Today, men have immediate access to every kind of pleasure that you can imagine. We can get all the flavor-enhanced food we can eat, alcohol and other substances, streaming shows, thousands of video games, and even open, high-speed access to digital carnal pleasure 24/7. That's why it's so hard for men to even consider having a purpose today, because there are instant, cheap rewards everywhere. Why would anyone bother to complicate their lives? And this is the problem with that. Men without purpose become men without challenges. And men without challenges get depressed. There's no way around this. One of the leading causes of depression in men today is that there are no obvious challenges left, because the quick and easy rewards just numbs their minds. If one ever finds a purpose and sets off to overcome challenges, you will always have the softness of civilization to catch you. There's no direct risk. You can just settle for a mediocre life and you'll be fine, I guess. Depressed, but fine. This has been happening at younger and younger ages because the sons of fathers without purpose end up repeating those patterns, unless they decide to break the vicious cycle. And today you need something really bad to happen in a man's life for him to wake up and say that he's going to take control. That is, if his circle of friends doesn't drag him back again to square one. This is the global crisis of men, and most men react to this depressed state in 2 ways. One, they become malignant narcissists because they find out that the only way to get real pleasure and something loosely related to control is by controlling another person, in this case, a woman. Manipulating that woman is what alleviates their depression, but that's why they engage in more and worse gaslighting as time goes by. And the other option is that their depression turns them into cynical creatures that are a real pain to be around because they will play the victim card whenever they can. Just like my family cut me off financially. The easiest way that you can spot a man without purpose is that they don't seem to have a mission, a challenge to be obsessed about. And you might think at first that, well, he seems nice, so it looks like he's a good man. And maybe he is. But the problem is that a lack of purpose and challenges is always going to lead to the same thing: depression and frustration. And of course, the relationship with you is going to be the first casualty. There is absolutely no way around this. Now, you might think that Harry has been a man of purpose, that he left the UK because he wanted to protect his family. And I don't blame you if his story sounds like a very romantic rebel that went against all odds to save his family. But there's a question, and I'd love if you can answer in the comments. Does Harry really look like a man that has a clear and concrete purpose, a mission to his life? I mean, he's a public person, so it should not be too hard to get that answer right. But the real problem is, in that Oprah interview, he was whiny, playing the victim, both with his words and with his body language. And he accepted that it was thanks to Meghan that he decided to leave his royal duties, that she saved him. That is so pathetic, because that is not a proactive man, one that acts because he chooses to, but a reactive man, one that acts because of external events or influence of another person, and he went as far as to saying it publicly. I would not be surprised if that question, "Did Meghan save you?" was agreed in advance between Oprah and Meghan. And let's be honest, do you really think it makes sense the change in body language of Harry before and after all this? We used to see Harry as the happy, charismatic royal, and now he just looks miserable. He always seems like following what Meghan does without a mission for himself. That is not the look of a man with an exciting purpose, with the adrenaline rush of overcoming challenges every day, of becoming a better version of himself. A man that a woman can really fall in love with. What women want is a man with purpose, a man that throws himself into the lions just to grow as a person or as a professional. There are less and less reasons for men to do that, and that's a problem that is being carried into the next generation. Conformity in men with attitudes like, "I'm content with what I have, I'm content with my 9 to 5, I have no reasons to do anything beyond that," is what's making them depressed and killing relationships. And just to be clear, you are not responsible for setting up your man's purpose. That is not your responsibility, and that is not how men work. The recommendation that I have all the time is, whenever you meet a man, look for 3 things. 1. Does he have a purpose, a mission, something that he's almost obsessed over? A challenge that goes against the normalcy of society? 2. What kind of people does he hang out with? You can tell a lot by the friends of a man, and if he doesn't have long-term friends at all, that's the biggest red flag. And 3. Always pay attention at how he treats everyone. If you notice that he treats people differently based on personal interest or gain, well, just go away. These 3 signals will save you a lot of time and tears, guaranteed. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.